We're continuing with the answer to the question, what's next after digitalization? Turn data graveyards into data soil. And I welcome to stage Waqar Aslan. He's the Director of Business Development at TraCert.
Thanks, thank you. Hello everyone, my name is Waqar and I'm Director of Business Development at TraCert. I hope you're having an amazing time. And right now, I have something amazing to discuss, which is what is next after digitalization. It is something really amazing, so amazing that I forgot to pick up my remote. Which one is that? So as you can see, so first I'm going to tell you a story. So the founder of our company, TraCert, has been an entrepreneur in the aviation sector for a long time. And as he was there, he started developing these concerns that, in the aviation sector, the way documentation is being used is not how it should be. Because after all, the people who are going to be responsible for their business, and that business that is conducting documentation, data proofing, and data validation, the people who are going to be responsible are going to be entrepreneurs and managing directors. And you surely know this fact that I'm going to tell you. And this fact is something that I think everyone here knows about it, which is the technology that we use today in the aviation industry in the modern day and age for documentation, data proofing, and data validation is the technology that was used 100 years ago, which basically is using paper and just using documentation for papers. And this is something that we call data graveyard. And you'll get to know more about it. What is data graveyard? But first, let me give you this example. So a big aviation company, aircraft manufacturing company in the aviation sector, they conducted an internal audit to see how much does it cost them, and they're using paper documentation, and how much paper documentation are they using. So it turns out the company yearly handles about 10 million documents, and it costs them about 28 million euros every single year. Now this is something that is, I think, a lot of money can be saved here. How? Well, once we understood that there's a problem and there's a lot of effort and money is being lost, so what we did at TraCert, we came along with the top aviation companies, and then we formed a standardization, which is DIN Spec 9012, which allows the vast potential of digitization for this requirement. And after that, what we did, we basically created a product, a service, that is called CertTrace. And what CertTrace does, it basically uses blockchain technology, and it provides you, the user, the capacity for storage of all documents digitally in the cloud, notarization through our green blockchain technology, and QR code replaces the stacks of paper that I just mentioned. They handled 10 million papers, and it cost them a lot of money, which was 28 million. And now, it's not only it also provides you the audit-proof documentation of all relevant data that you are going to be storing in the CertTrace system. And it is also protected but easily accessible to you worldwide. You just only need to have the internet access. And it will save you 90% of your documentation cost. And now, the thing that I started my presentation with, what is next after digitalization? This is something that is really important because everyone knows that digitalization is important, but we need to look towards the future. What is ahead? What is coming next? And we need to be prepared. And the thing that is next, it is turning data graveyards into data soil. What does that mean? Data graveyards, data soil. Well, basically, data graveyard means a data that is stored in the documentation form. It could be in the paper form, but it also could be in the digital form. But that data has so much to teach us, so much to tell us. It's almost like if the data is trying to tell us a story, but we're not listening to it. It's screaming, learn from me, but we're just not using it in any way. And once we understand the data, then we put the data into the soil. And how would we do that? Well, what we would do is use AI to learn from the data. First, what we do is first we have to compile the documents in a way that that lets us understand how the data should be compiled and how it can be understood. And once we see that the data is in the form that it needs to be easily understood by the computer programs, then we can use statistical analysis to learn from it. And it can be used in any context. For example, there is this big goal in the aviation industry to go fly net zero by 2050. How would that goal be achieved? But basically, first we need to ask, how do we achieve that goal? What we do is we look at the past. As humans also, we look at ourselves and we learn from our past. What did we do wrong? Why am I doing this? What are the things that I'm doing wrong, that I did wrong in the past? And the same thing I think we need to do here. We need to learn from the past so that we can make better decisions. For example, there are many things in the aviation sector. For example, to go net zero, fly net zero, we have to see where there is a gap. For example, where the efficiency can be improved when it comes to assembling, when it comes to manufacturing the parts, and also it could also be making the airports more efficient. But all the information is in the data, in the documents. And here we can see United Nations, European Commission, and IATA. They all are saying they have this goal, and we need to achieve this goal. And this is an example how we would achieve this goal, which is there are documents. First, they'll be basically, without making it more complicated, they'll be converted into easily bite-sized data that can be easily read by the AI. And now, as I've explained, we need to do this. We need to convert our data to understand, to make a better future, turning data graveyards to data soil. But the first step that we need to take is we need to go digital. And we all know that 2050 is just approaching. It's right there. It's only 28 years ahead of us. So the first step that we need to do is go digital. And for that, we have this product, TraCert, and we're already working with many different aviation companies, and we're already helping them. And we would love to help you to make your data digital and learn from that data. Our booth is here, F13. We would love to have you, to talk to you. And if you'd like some coffee, we also have coffee there. We would love to have you there. Or you can just scan the QR code and you can learn more about us. So thanks, and I really appreciate it. Have a good day.
Thank you. But time for a question. Can you give an example, maybe more specifically, from an aviation company, what this can learn from the graveyard data, or rather the data soil?
Yeah, sure. For example, how to make parts more efficient. So there are many companies that are developing aircraft parts, and those parts are using, in the documents, there are parts that are made with different kind of chemicals, with different kind of heating signatures. And how do we even know that the ranges that in the aviation sector people think that they are correct, and they're truly correct? We don't know that. What we need to do is we need to we need to test those ranges with using different kind of data, different kind of documents, and then only then we would be able to understand if this is the true range that we think is the correct one.
Okay, thank you. You have 6 seconds for answering the second question. How can data soil help getting more sustainable?
Well, it's simply, it can help us more sustainable by just using the data and looking towards the future, just not making the mistakes that we made in the past. That's it.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
In our